What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking to y'all about my homeschool experience personally. So I already did my experience in public school. That was yesterday's video. And today I'm going to be talking about my experience homeschooled. And one thing I will say is homeschool is not for the weak. Because if you do it right, because me personally, I had like very little social interaction with anybody outside of my family when I did homeschool. Let's just say I got very lonely. Okay? I got very, very, very lonely, and it was very upsetting. And I got so lonely to the point where it's like I just made online friends, and all I wanted to do after I got done doing schoolwork was just talking to those online friends and hanging out with those online friends in games all day. That's all I wanted to do when I was homeschooled and when I finished my work in the morning, because I was just so incredibly lonely. Like, all my friends from elementary school gone. I wasn't allowed to text them or call them. I wasn't allowed to have their phone numbers. And so that was something that just really, like, that's something that made me say to myself, I am not about to spend the next 4 years in high school. That's why I started 7th grade. I started homeschool in 6th grade, and then I did it all the way until 9th grade, because that's when I finished high school. And so with homeschool, you get to work ahead, but if you need to slow down in some aspects, you get to slow down. That's the part I really enjoyed about homeschool. But it was just a thing of, it wasn't done right, if that makes sense. I at least didn't really get to communicate with other kids my age outside of my family for like 5 years. Yeah, like 5 or 6 years. That just wasn't really something that we got to do. Well, I mean, okay, 6th grade, yeah, I had kids on the street I got to play with. But then at one point it kind of just stopped. Really just, it was awful, honestly. When it came to the social aspect, it was awful. But when it came to the educational aspect, it was amazing, because I got to work at the pace I wanted to, whether it was a fast pace, and then if I needed to slow down on some parts, I could slow down, then pick it right back up. And that was just something that I really loved and enjoyed doing. And my final course, the final course that I had to do was this writing course. And so I did the writing course, and I got a good grade on it. And so then I was like, okay, I am now going to be officially done with high school. And then, like, I want to say a year or two later, I've just graduated last week on Thursday. So that is actually very exciting. But homeschool, honestly, it's a thing of, in public school, I love the social aspect of public school. And that's why so many people say they could not imagine being homeschooled, because they just know that their parents sometimes probably would not let them go and see their friends. And that's something so valid in the kids, though, is that if you parents are in charge of your homeschool, then it's really, if you want a social life, you have to make sure that's like something you really like address. If you go to do sports and like cheer or soccer or all these different things while doing homeschool, then you're probably gonna get that social aspect. But for me, it was just a situation of, I hated the fact that I was just stuck at home with just my brother, and we were just doing homeschool. It's like me and my brother, we don't get along all the time. And so imagine you just doing your schoolwork. Like, that's all you do, because you have nobody to hang out or talk to your own age. Because I only have a brother. I don't have a sister my age or anything. And so I'm kind of just talking to people online. I'm just playing by myself, and I didn't really like playing by myself when all my toys were in storage. And so it was just a situation of, why would I do that and instead of just doing school? So I did school to pass the time, because I didn't have any friends. So because I didn't have friends, I didn't do anything else but schoolwork, because I had no friends and I had no social life. So that was just something that really was upsetting, and that happened. Homeschool is great in the educational aspect, but if I could go back and do it all over again, I would want to have those friends. I would want to have friends, because that was just something that really, it was just a thing of, we didn't even like have church friends or anything. And that was something that really sucked. Like, after 6th grade, just absolutely no friends. right? And so when all the friends you have are like online friends, you kind of honestly become chronically online because all you do all day is schoolwork. Well, not all day, but for a majority of your morning you just do schoolwork, and then you really don't know what else to do because you have no friends to hang out with. You don't have to do extracurriculars. And so when you transfer, it's like a hard transition going from homeschool, public school, to like public school for what seemed like basically your whole life at that age, to homeschool. It was like a really hard adjustment because at least, because 6th grade, we had an adjustment where basically we do homeschool, but then we had kids on our street we could play with, kids our own age. It's like the oldest kid was like 15, the youngest kid was like 6, and so there was a good age range. We had it from like 6 years old all the way to 15 years old, and there were middle schoolers, we had 5th graders. It was just the whole situation, honestly. But I really truly just couldn't do it. That was just also a situation where I was lonely, but at the same time my parents invested so much time into me so that way I could be able to travel and I didn't have to deal with teachers just being mean to me. So at that same time, well, I do get upset sometimes by the fact that I didn't get to have all these great and awesome friends. I don't think I'd regret it. I don't think I'd change it. If I could go back and I could be like, hey, I want to stay in touch with these friends from school, these kids I've known since kindergarten, my best friends, Aubrey, James, Sarah, Carter, Jake, like, I'd say, hey, I want to do that. But my parents, and my dad especially, he was always so proud of me for working hard, and so that's something I've always been grateful for, is he wanted me to be able to travel and not have teachers be mean to me or making me be upset over not knowing something. And so I do appreciate that so much, that he really just, he wanted the best for me, and he wanted to be able to spend more time with us. That's why we became homeschooled, because he wanted us to basically live and experience life and not in a school building for 8 hours a day doing absolutely nothing. And I think that's something I will always appreciate too, is that he never just wanted us to sit in a school building for 7-8 hours a day and then have to come home and do schoolwork. And so I think that was also just something that was really great, honestly, and I'm very grateful for. But my homeschool experience was very lonely, and the educational aspect was fun. I actually enjoyed doing the schoolwork too, though, so that might have been it. But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and let me know about what you think of, just doing homeschool or public school in general. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.